Hello everybody, my name is Brandon. Welcome back to the channel. I am here today with another book review, this time of Stephen King's Joyland. So Joyland was released in 2013, published by Hard Case Crimes, which I've talked about a little bit on this channel because that is the same company that releases the Quarry series, which you guys know I've already talked about, I really love. So this book I actually ended up picking up on audiobook from an Audible sale. It was on sale for $5 earlier this year, I think just a month or two ago. And so because it was Stephen King and I'm trying to read through his bibliography, not in any set amount of time, just in general, I want to read as much as I can of Stephen King because I really enjoy his work. So I picked it up because it was only $5. And as you can see from the cover, it looks like it was, set in some amusement park or a carnival or something. And so it, for that and the fact that it was King for $5, I figured I'd give it a shot. This book was not like any other Stephen King novel I've ever read. It does not fit cleanly into the horror genre by any stretch. It's not sci-fi at all. And even though it was published by Hard Case Crime, frankly, it barely even fits into the crime genre. Really, Joyland is more of a mystery. But that said, if you go into Joyland hoping to solve a whodunit along with the main character, then you're probably going to be disappointed. So what did I think of it? Someone who knew virtually nothing about it other than, like I mentioned, the cover looked pretty cool. It has this beautiful hand-drawn art, which I just really love. And it was published by one of my, I guess I'll call it one of my favorite publishers out there right now, Hard Case Crime. Other than that, I knew nothing about it. So what did I think of this entry in the Stephen King universe that is unlike any I've read before? Well, let's dive right in. As always, this review will be spoiler-free, so you do not have to worry about any spoilers if you've not read it yet. Joyland is the story of Devin Jones, or as his friends call him, Jonesy, and that's how I'll refer to him as in the rest of this review. So it is the story of Jonesy's 21st year. He spends his 21st year in this small town, North Carolina amusement park, and it's 1973, and we're actually hearing this story being told from a much older Jonesy, as he's basically reminiscing back to his 21st year, which, as you read the story, you can kind of tell why he's talking about this year, because it is gotta be the most interesting and unique year of his life. So Jonesy decides to take this job at Joyland as a carny, and it becomes a lot more than he anticipated his crappy summer job being. It turns out that one of the rides at Joyland, the only dark ride, as the carnies refer to it as, is actually haunted, or, it's spoken to be haunted. Who knows if it really is or not. And so it's actually haunted by the ghost of a woman who was killed there a number of years earlier, and her crime, her murder, actually went unsolved. So eventually Jones becomes interested in this story along with a couple of his friends, and they try to solve the mystery. Now, that's how they're trying to sell this story. But the mystery aspect of this, or the solving the mystery aspect, doesn't even really play a factor until, I don't know, about halfway through the book, or maybe even a bit longer. What this story is really about is Devin Jones and the crazy things he encounters in his 21st year that he spends at this amusement park, Joyland, between semesters at college. One thing I always say in my Stephen King reviews is that he is an incredible character builder, and he brings that tenfold here in Joyland. That said, that is really the only element that makes this book feel like a Stephen King novel. This book is slow-moving, is not very long at all, contains no traditional scare scenes, and frankly has really very few action pieces or gore sequences in it at all. Even without those elements, which I normally love in Stephen King's work, I still fell in love with Joyland and its just crazy cast of characters, and I loved reading about them. Almost all of the characters here are likable in one way or another. They're flawed, yes, but there's things to like about them. This was a breath of fresh air because I loved reading about these characters and the effect they would have on our main character. Speaking of Jonesy, He is another example of Stephen King crafting an incredible main character. He is young, but he's smart, and he's just a genuinely good person that's always trying to do the right thing, even if he isn't actively seeking out situations where doing the right thing matters the most. I found him incredibly endearing, which is a good thing because this entire story is about him. Frankly, if you start reading this book and decide that you don't like Jonesy or don't care about him, then just put the book down because it's not worth wasting your time over, because this is Devin Jones's story. I won't sugarcoat it. This story is not for everyone. Like I'd already said, it's slow, it doesn't have a lot of action set pieces, and even if you're looking for a mystery to solve, King doesn't really lay out the pieces for the reader to solve it anytime before the main character does. But that said, that's not what this story is about. King did not set out to write a whodunit. He is writing a character study that happens to have a murder mystery for these characters to try to solve. The reason I love this book so much was just because I fell so hard for the charm of Joyland and its quirky cast of characters. Most notably, Jonesy. He is a genuinely good person, but he's not perfect, and that makes him super interesting to follow. I was all about following Jonesy's 21st year because it was more interesting than all 30 plus years that I've been alive. That might sound ridiculous, but King manages to make the whole thing feel believable and realistic. I cannot say it any more simply than this. Joyland brought me joy. I couldn't wait to continue reading this book at every opportunity I could. I loved every minute of the well-narrated audiobook, and I genuinely didn't want this book to end because King creates such an incredible world that I loved spending time in and being a part of the only way I could, which is, of course, following this narration. So while Joyland is not for everyone, it was definitely for me. So I'm giving Stephen King's Joyland 5 out of 5 stars. Alright, so that's gonna do it for my review of Joyland by Stephen King. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Definitely check out my other book reviews that I have here on the channel. I've reviewed a handful of other Stephen King novels, so if you're interested most in that, you can definitely check those out there. Let me know down in the comments below, have you read this book and did you like it? Yes or no? Let me know why or why not down in the comments below. I'd love to have more of a conversation with you guys down there, but as always, please do your best to keep it as spoiler-free as possible so that others can check out the comments without fear of being spoiled. As always, if you guys enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing to Cinefessions here on YouTube, and if not, thank you anyway for watching. I really appreciate it. Alright guys, that's going to do it for today. I just want to say thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you next time.